we only had one big event in the last week and a half. Not really much going on since New Year's Eve. We had UFC Fight Night 103, and man,
from Arizona, and it was depressing.
It was depressing. Let's start off with some of the lower fights. Did you see the Ezekiel choke that went down?
That was awesome, and it was funny because
Oleksiy Olink.
Yes, he set that up by letting the guy mount him. He gave him the mount. Like if you watch it over again, he gave the guy the mount so he could hit that Ezekiel choke from the bottom.
So for people who don't know what an Ezekiel choke is, let's explain. An Ezekiel choke is basically you're wrapping up with one arm, controlling the head and the neck, and you're curling it in almost like you're doing a rear naked choke, but your opponent is facing you, and you're digging your fist into their carotid artery, cutting off the blood to the head, similar to what happens when you have a triangle choke.
It's you're basically you're creating scissors with your hands, and you're trying to pop their head off, kind of thing. If you don't know what any of the thing we're talking about right now as far as chokes go, and to have a guy that big do it to you, I mean, he's got to have some long ass arms. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
a hard move to hit.
I mean, it's pretty, and you also got to be pretty confident to tell a dude or think to yourself, "I'm going to set up this win by letting this guy mount me."
Yeah, he has to be really good and confident with that move because it obviously works.
Well, he has several of them, right? Several wins that way.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but that was pretty. I liked it.
Let's move on. So some other guys whose names you know: Sergio Pettis and John Moraga.
Sergio really impressed me. I figured that John would beat him. I'll be honest. And Sergio,
I bet on Sergio.
Yeah, he took every shot that he would take from John, he would roll it off and then crack John back, and that's where he started to catch him over and over and over again. Even landed a takedown or two. He looked really good, and those guys are my weight. I would be excited to fight Sergio.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting fight.
Yeah,
I just feel like, but John Moraga, I mean, he's been around a while. You would think that he's
been top 5, top 10 for years, 5 years now.
Yeah,
he's a stud. It's
funny because I bet on Sergio to win, even though knowing John Moraga is a top 5, top 10 guy. But I just feel like Sergio Pettis with you would be like a bad matchup for him.
Yeah, I mean it would. He's moving and he's moving less and less these days, but he's getting better. I would like that fight. I think it'd be a tough one, and I think that would put either one of us in line for a title shot real quick.
I think that'd be a good fight for you to call out after this fight.
Yeah,
Sergio Pettis.
He looked hot in that fight, so I would love it.
Plus, everyone knows who he is.
Yeah,
that's a smart one to call out.
Exactly.
That's a fight that you can win. And it's a good guy to say I beat him.
Good up and coming kid.
So let's move on. We haven't seen him in the UFC for a while. It's Ben Saunders. He defeated Court McGee, and I got that one wrong. I bet on Court, but it could have gone either way. That one.
I thought that Ben might, and I'm friends with Court. I thought Ben would maybe end up submitting him. Court's a cardio machine. He comes from Pit Elevated over in Utah. And that guy just works his butt off at that elevation. I mean, he's always got good cardio. He's just a grinder, like his nickname says, the Crusher. But he did better than I expected. The elevation thing, most people don't really understand that the elevation thing doesn't matter unless you stay at that elevation until you're within 72 hours of your fight, because your high amount of red blood cells, your body will acclimate to the regular elevation again, and you'll lose those red blood cells, and you'll have done all that for nothing. So you have to, if you do elevation, he lives there.
If you do the elevation, you have to stay there until like the day of your weigh-in or the day before. You can't leave a week before the fight.
No, I'm just saying, but he works that hard at that high of elevation, and it pushes him to a really high output.
But I see all these guys who do that. They're like, "Oh, I'm training elevation. I'm gonna have better cardio." It's like, well, how many days before the fight are you going to your fight? 5 days. Well, it's not doing shit, dummy.
Yeah. What science has found out recently, or somewhat recently, is that you should work out where there is the most oxygen, which would be sea level, because it's better for your body to work out with the more oxygen. It's healthier. And then to sleep at elevation, so your body does produce more red blood cells and all that stuff. But then again, if you're sleeping with less oxygen, it's harder to recover. So there's pros and cons to it all. I like training at the beach because it's just the fucking beach. It's where I've grown up and lived my whole life, and it's awesome.
It's where we belong.
Yeah, exactly. We're saltwater people.
Let's move on. Joe Lauzon. He defeated Marcin Held in a unanimous decision.
Which was...
Now, one judge gave it 30-27 for Joe.
I think it was closer for Joe than people give him credit for, but I still think he lost.
I mean, he got controlled.
Yeah, he did.
And he threatened with one sub, but he wasn't like.
Marcin didn't do anything with the control, though. He didn't really do much, where Joe was the one who was actually attacking. And he was attacking on the ground, which is pretty crazy, because Marcin Held is a stud grappler.
Yeah, I get it.
World class.
And Joe Lauzon, everyone loves him. He's so funny. He gets on the mic, goes, I didn't win that fight.
He's a good guy.
How many fights must Joe have in the UFC by now? He's got to have a lot.
25?
Yeah, he's got quite a few, that guy. He's been around.
I calculated his bonuses the other day, and it came out to like $1,050,000.
Just in bonuses?
Just in bonuses.
What, he has 20 bonuses? No way.
He's got a lot of bonuses. I mean, they posted the number somewhere, and I'm sure not all of them were for $50,000. But they were performance and night bonuses, so they most of them, maybe they were, I don't know. So I just figured, let's just calculate at $50,000 a piece, whatever number they put up, and it was $1,050.
Wow,
like, damn.
$1,050,000.
$1,050,000. It was amazing.
A whole $1,050. Yeah. Good for you, Joe.
$1,050,000. It was fucking, which is what, 21?
As the Bostonians would say, that's wicked awesome.
That's wicked awesome.
Last fight of the night, I don't really want to talk about that much. BJ Penn is defeated by Yair Rodriguez in a fight that I think was just stylistically, and it was just, you guys so much taller than BJ. And I don't think, when BJ fought Frankie, he looked terrible. I thought BJ was in shape and ready to go for this fight. He just never really got off, and it just stylistically was terrible.
Yeah, and he looked his age. He looked slow. That was a big thing. Is his hands were slow. And it's. He's still tough as shit. He didn't get knocked unconscious. The guy's still got a granite chin. But I just think that time itself has moved past him.
Yeah,
and that's coming from a friend. I would love to watch him fight like he used to, but it doesn't happen. It's not going to happen anymore.
I don't know what to say. It's a real bummer. Let's move on, though. I don't really want to talk about the one that much. Yes. So let's talk about the news. What's going on in the world? Let's see. Today, it was reported that Nate Diaz has applied for a boxing license in Nevada.
And he's been talking to Floyd Mayweather a bunch. Floyd went on record about talking to Nate about boxing, about all kinds of shit. So that's interesting. And the talk about Conor and Floyd is heating up. Dana offered him $25 million plus pay-per-view. Yeah,
so let's swing back on that. Both Floyd and Conor have been taking shots at each other in the media
for months.
All along, Dana's been saying, I don't know why these guys keep talking. If they want to do it, they have to go through me.
Yeah.
Because the UFC and the Zuffa and WME, IMG have the contract for Conor McGregor. Conor got a license in California, which nobody knows why, because Floyd doesn't fight in California anyways. He never will. And then they started kind of going back and forth talking about money, and Floyd made Conor an offer.
Yeah.
I believe it was $15 million.
It was $15 million, plus they would split the pay-per-view.
Well, not split, but split it, but not split it evenly.
Well, no, that's just what Conor. Conor was just fucking doing the usual thing. He was talking.
So then, no, that was Floyd who made that offer, and then.
Oh, I'm talking about Conor's just we're gonna do that. So he just says shit.
So then Dana went on the Herd,
yes,
and said that look,
it's Colin Cowherd, right?
Yeah, we'll give each you guys $25 million plus we'll do a pay-per-view split.
Yeah,
we'll guaranteed $25 million. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's way below Floyd because Floyd makes hundreds of millions. Well, look.
And Floyd is asking for $100 million guaranteed.
Because, well, here's the thing. Floyd made a lot of money with Canelo and with Manny Pacquiao. But his last fight was a Berto.
Yes.
He only made I think 30.
He got a guaranteed 30 or 35.
Yes.
Which is his guaranteed number. But
he didn't even do a million pay-per-view buys.
No, he did 350,000 or something, where Conor's getting, $1.5 million. So
I mean, Conor could fight anybody and gets at least 1 million pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Floyd, it's been proven that Floyd can't fight just anyone and get 1 million pay-per-view buys. Floyd would have to have a rematch with Manny or fight a rematch with Canelo for it to be big money.
Exactly. And right now, the record for pay-per-views is 4.8 million with Pacquiao and Mayweather. Now,
which is a number that I can't. Who's going to touch that?
Fucking crazy. But if anyone's going to give it a run for its money, it's going to be Conor.
Who's going to touch that number?
I mean, it's going to be $100 again, just like the Pacquiao Mayweather fight was. And I think I don't know. I mean, man, imagine if they beat it. Imagine they pulled off 5 million people. The fucking money they would make. I mean, because they're both going to split 25 million, or they're both going to get 25 million. And, or let's say, when it comes down to hard bargaining, Floyd gets 35. Maybe they both get 35 million, guaranteed. Then they split pay-per-view. If they get 5 million and they're both making, a couple, $2, $3, $4, $5.
They could each get to 9 figures.
They could for surely get to 9 figures. Let's say they're making $10. It's astronomical. It's insane.
Well, the thing, if you hear when Joe Rogan tried to break down the pay-per-view thing, the problem was that Joe forgot the cable companies.
Yes.
He said, okay, the average pay-per-view is $60. They should do 1 million pay-per-view buys. That's $60 million. He's not remembering. The cable company takes half off the top.
I'm sure.
30 million's gone.
Yeah.
If you do 1 million buys at $60, 30 million's gone.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Oh yes, right away.
Like he's never factored that in. That leaves another 30 million for the UFC and for the fighters.
Yes.
So I mean, for them to talk about Nate and Conor each being guaranteed $10 million is not feasible at all.
Yeah.
It just couldn't happen.
Well, now if this happens and they pull it up, because WME needs to make a return on their money. They need to start paying off that $2 billion loan. I mean, they took out $2 billion in loans, so they got to pay that off. And the quickest way possible to pay that shit off is to have Mayweather fight Conor, because they will make they'll make half a billion, and then you're good. You're good for a while there. Yep. And that'll cause so much interest in the UFC if they have a crossover fight, that what they should do is have them fight boxing with MMA gloves on.
Yeah.